That's it for today's program. Join us next time and we'll highlight happenings round about JA. Until then, I'm Joy Kelly with studio engineer Andre Sawyers. Walk good.
A production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting.
The NHT has boosted construction loan limits to 11 million for one applicant and up to 23 million for three co-applicants. We are building Jamaica.
The time by the office of the Prime Minister is...
It's 4 minutes after 9.
You're inside the Consumer Hour with Nora Gay Banton.
Good morning, good morning, good morning to you. It is Monday. It is a Monday. It's Monday, August 18, 2025. Yes, many of you are nationwide listeners. You signify today as nomination day. Of course, Nationwide will bring you coverage of nomination day. That will start at 10 o'clock. But between 9 and 10, we will have Immigration Mondays. And just to let you know, those of you who are joining for nomination day coverage, you don't have to leave. You can stay until 10 o'clock. But I want to say good morning to all of you listening on the 90 FM band, 90.3, 90.5, 90.7, and 90.9 on your FM dial. We want to say thank you for joining us on your radio. If you're listening and watching on our YouTube channel, good morning to you. The channel is Nationwide 90 FM Live 2. That's Nationwide 90 FM LIVE with the number 2 beside that. Go on over there and subscribe. Want to say good morning to Rick NYCJM, first in the YouTube chat this morning. Juliet Sanchez, good morning to you as well. Merlene Russell, good morning. Mark Greenswood, top of the morning to you. Mark says good morning, NNN Nights. All right. David Nebar, good morning to you. Caroline Smith in the YouTube chat. Good morning. Chris Daly, Albert Morgan, Sonia Hutton. Good morning. God's Chosen. Good morning to you as well. Hermin, Ryder 40, Martin Campbell, KT Buello, Rohan Stadhard, and everybody else over there in the YouTube chat. Big up on yourself. If you're listening from our mobile app, which is available for free on the Google Play and the Apple App Store, top of the morning to you as well. Those on our website, the Listen Now option there. Greetings to you on this Monday morning. It's a Monday, and inside the Consumer Hour, we have Immigration Mondays. Inside Immigration Mondays, we are joined by U.S. Immigration Attorney Opal Lee and Canadian Immigration Consultant Nadine Mahabir. Good morning, ladies. All right, while we wait to join Nadine and Opal for Immigration Mondays, just to let you know that if you're new to the program, you have the opportunity to ask immigration-related questions concerning the United States and Canada. So if you have any questions, we will be able to take those for you via our phone lines or on the live YouTube chat. But before we go to the questions, we allow Nadine and Opal to give us an update on anything immigration related that's happening in both countries, the United States and Canada. So we are ready. All right. Good morning to you, Opal. Good morning, Nadine.
Good morning, Nora. Welcome back. Good morning, Nadine. And of course, good morning to our wonderful listeners and viewers. Happy Monday.
Is Nadine there? Or is her mic muted? Oh, we're having some difficulties. Well, good morning to you, Opal. Thank you. I am back indeed. Yes, back after quite some time away. But I am back. So while we try to see what's happening with Nadine, I'm going to just jump. She's going to rejoin us, but we're going to jump right into it. Allow you to go right ahead, Opal, with the updates, immigration related.
Okay, so one update is that on Friday, August 8th, USCIS actually issued a policy alert, which is basically announcing a return to, and this is regarding the CSPA. For those who don't know, the CSPA is a Child Status Protection Act. Whereas some people might think, okay, you know what, my child has reached the age of 21. What do I do? Does that mean that child will still be able to migrate even though that child is a derivative? You know, maybe my mother filed for me and then I have a child who is at least 21 or 22 or 23, and we're wondering if that child will be able to still migrate. So that's a CSPA normally protects that child. So even though the child may be, for example, over 21, when they do the calculation based on a visa number becoming available, the date the visa number becoming available versus the date that, you know, with all things included, the child, even though the child might be 24, when they calculate how many times or how much time the I-130 was actually pending, you get that back. Well, the bad news is that on Friday, August 8th, USCIS issued a policy alert announcing that they're returning exclusively to using the visa bulletin's final action dates. So there are 2 dates that they can use. They normally use the final action date, or they may use the dates for filing for people who are in the United States. And so now what they're saying is that they're going back to it now, where they're only going to be using the final action date beginning August 15th. And this is for adjustment of status. What that means, if your child is in the United States, maybe on a student visa, you really and truly need to speak with an attorney before going ahead and filing that I-485 for that child to get that green card, because it's possible that maybe the visa number may not be quite current because you might be using the wrong date to do the calculations. I know it might be a little bit confusing, but the takeaway is just know that if your child is in the United States, they're a derivative, and you're thinking about letting that person adjust, please seek competent legal advice before doing that, because if you submit the application and it's too early, it's going to be denied, and then you don't want that to happen. And real quick, coming September 2nd, I spoke about this last week, but coming September 2nd, remember the Department of State has significantly, they've notified us, they're significantly scaling back on the interview waivers for visa renewals. So if your visa has expired within the last 12 months, that's great for you. You might still get your interview waived. However, back in the days, they were doing 4 to 8 months. No. Come September 2nd, they're not. If your visa has been renewed for more than 12 months, you're more likely than not going to get an interview. And so what they're saying is that almost everyone now, because they're going to be on high alert for fraud and everything, almost everyone will be subject to that interview. No more, waiving. So you know what that means? The lines at 142 Old Hope Road, we can expect long lines and lengthy delays. Yes, because now everybody almost will be doing interviews. And I think that's it for me, Nora.
All right. Well, that was quite a bit of information there. So if you have a child in the United States and you're thinking about adjusting status, you want to ensure that you take note of what Opal was saying. And for those of you who will be applying for visas as well, just ensure that you will, let me just say, you might just have to just go in for an interview if you think you would have previously qualified for an interview waiver. So just check that out and check it properly so that you can be doing the right thing. All right. And Nadine is back with us on the phone lines. Good morning, Nadine.
Hello, Ms. Nora. Good morning. Good morning, Ms. Lee. I'm sure you're celebrating all week, so happy birthday. And, of course, good morning to our wonderful and loyal listeners and viewers.
Thank you,
Nora. No real updates per se. I would just like to remind our listeners, especially those that have students coming to Canada to start school in a couple of weeks, Please ensure that, of course, you have your documents prepared for when you land in Canada. For most applicants, they would have been issued a visa in their passports. When you physically land in Canada, that is when you're given your actual student permit. So that's an immigration document, nor that is issued to persons who have applied for whether it's study permits or work permits. Those documents are issued to you when you land in Canada. So you want to ensure that you have your acceptance letter, your provincial attestation letter, your proof of funds to show that, yes, you have already paid a portion of your tuition. And it doesn't hurt as well to show the letters of support that you might have submitted with your application along with the bank statement. Because, again, when you get to Canada, Immigration Canada is going to be confirming that you are a genuine student. Thanks, Nora.
All right. Valuable information there again, especially for students who will be starting school in Canada. All right. So ensure, guys, that you are have everything that you need to have. And if you are not sure, just seek some advice from a reputable source, of course. Do some research before you go ahead and make any critical decisions, because that can affect the future of whatever you are going into either country to do. All right. So we're up on a break. We are going to take a break. And when we come back, the phone lines will be open for you to ask any questions immigration related to either Nadine or Opal. And of course, our YouTube chat is open as well for you.
Did you know that the Ministry of Local Government and Community Development has 9 shelters across the island with plans of building 14 more? From Kingston to St. James, there are several places for the most vulnerable to call home. From our 24-hour transitional and drop-in centers to our night shelters, there is always a roof and warm meal waiting for you. We are here to help you rehabilitate and reintegrate. The government pledges its continued commitment to helping our most vulnerable. Contact your municipal corporation if you or anyone you know might need to use the shelter. Local government is working for you.
You hear, say nationwide back to school fair get pushed back to August 23?
What? Push back? Lord, man, me need ready to go Harmony Beach Park, you know.
Yeah, man, but them push it back to make it bigger and better. More vibes, more giveaways, and more things for everybody enjoy.
So tell me something, the book swap still go on?
Yes, man. Still bring the books the kids don't need, and them can swap it for the ones them can use. Plus, them are gonna have health screening, school supplies for buy, banks and location, and enough giveaways.
Alright, me like the sound of that. But anything else I want?
Then no must. Me hear say them have domino tournament, scavenger hunt, and beer things for the whole family. So make sure you register.
Register? So how me have to go register now for go in if it's free?
Because once you register, you automatically get entered to win the grand prize in the special raffle.
Me have to go call up some of my friends them cause we can't miss this. So tell me now, what the new date?
August 23, same place, Harmony Beach, Montego Bay, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Nationwide 90 FM's Back to School Fair. Bigger, better, and full of vibes.
The NNN Back to School Fair is brought to you by KFC, Massey Distribution Jamaica Limited, Cozy Corner, Phoenix Vision Center, the Jamaica Public Service, the Jamaica Customs Agency, the Urban Development Corporation, UDC, Friends of the Mayor's Parlor, JTA Credit Union, Stewart's Automotive, J&J Pharmacy, Hospitan, Budget Car Rental, Digicel Foundation, Sun Life Tours JA, Pop Fashion Limited, Charm West Limited, Discount Lumber and Hardware Limited, and All-American Institute of Medical Sciences.
This is Nationwide Tokyo Did You Know Facts.
Did you know that the championships were held at 4-year intervals? Yes, that's a fact. Until Tokyo 91, the championships were held every 4 years.
That was Nationwide Tokyo Did You Know Facts.
All right, good morning. Good morning. You're back here inside the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM. I am Norige Banton, and it's Immigration Mondays this morning. We're joined by U.S. Immigration Attorney Opal Lee and Canadian Immigration Consultant Nadine Mahabir, and we are taking your calls. So if you have any immigration related questions for either Nadine or Opal concerning the United States or Canada, then you can give us a call. And let me tell you the numbers that you can call. There's 876-630-9371. There's also 630-9372, 630-9373, 630-9374, and there's our Digicel line 618-8255. And of course, you can go on over to YouTube if you are unable to call and leave your question in our YouTube live chat. We are live on YouTube and the channel is Nationwide 90 FM live too. All right, so we do have some questions in the YouTube chat, so let me go to those first. This one says, good morning, ladies. I recently landed in the US for the first time on my visitor's visa. Above the US stamp, there was a note of, is that VIAPP? I don't know if that's the right thing or that's an error. Was written. What does that mean? I did 2 weeks and went back. Oh, had to decipher what was being said there. Opal, I don't know if you can make out what's being asked there.
Right. I mean, it's unusual. I mean, if the person just entered the first time, and it's just for 2 weeks, I don't see what the issue could be, because usually they would stamp, write something on there that says, you can't adjust your status, which I'm not going to say what I want to say, but sometimes people just ignore that, because even if CBP put that you can't adjust your status, meaning, enter the United States and run off, get married to somebody, then they're saying that they're not going to grant it. But the truth is, if you enter the United States, even if that is, if it says on there, not, no adjustment possible, if it is that you did not enter with or you can prove, if requested later on, that you never entered with the intent of immigrant intent, then you're still able to adjust even with that. But that person may, can do a consultation if they wish. I don't know what type of questions they asked her or him or her when they were entering, but it's nothing really to concern herself or themselves about.
Okay. All right. Here is another one. It says an individual entered the U.S. on a B2 visa and later married, through which he was issued a 1-year conditional green card followed by a 2-year conditional green card. Following a divorce, he did not renew his green card. Now at 84 years old, he's being asked by an agency to provide his I-94, but he has been unable to do so. The situation dates back to 1988. This person is asking for some assistance here.
So I'm going to tell this person, can you imagine from 1988? That person definitely sounds like they need a consultation. But for everybody else out there, if you're married to someone and it's you get that 2-year conditional green card, it means that at the end of that 2 years or 90 days before the expiration of 2 days, that 2 years, you're supposed to file an I-751 to remove the condition, to show them that, listen, you continue to reside with your spouse for that 2 year, or the marriage continue to be intact, or even if you're divorced, because it's fine, divorces happen. Even if you're divorced, you can still prove that at the time you entered it, it was a good marriage. So what you will need to do is provide all the evidence, Nora, that marriage, that, you were living together up to that time. If you have joint, or you should have joint assets on liabilities, to show a commingling of funds and assets, then you can still show that even if you were divorced, to lift that I-7 to do that. So that person might need to file that I-751. You can still file it late if you have been divorced, but it's going to be challenging for that person because they're going back all the way to 1988. Can you imagine trying to prove that marriage was real way back then? I don't know what that person need to have, but we need to do it. And that person, you said, is in their 80s right now or something?
Yeah, it says the person is 84 years old now.
Yeah, that person needs to do a consultation. But I've just given the general information, but for specific, that person really and truly need to do a consultation.
Yeah. All right. So I hope, well, I don't know if it changes anything, but the person was just given a correction there. The person didn't go on a B2 visa. The person went on an H2A visa.
Right. It doesn't matter. They got married and they tried to adjust and got a conditional anyway.
All right. Here is another one. It says, where is it? Oh, here it is. I'm a U.S. citizen married in July to my fiance of 2 years. Which forms do I need to file as he's returning to Jamaica and doesn't want to be detained for a change of status? We are over 60 years old.
Right. So it will be only the I-130. And of course, an I-130A is necessary for the beneficiary. So the one who is a U.S. citizen will sign the I-130 or complete the I-130. And the one that would be getting the immigrant visa later on would complete the I-130A. And they will, and it's very important that on the box where it asks, is that person eligible or in the US and eligible to adjust, they would not click that box. They would click consular processing and click Kingston, Jamaica, if the person's in Jamaica.
All right. Here is another one from YouTube. It says, okay. Good morning. Can I apply for a visitor's visa while I am back home for the 2 years rule on a J1 visa?
Absolutely. So a J1 visa, you can have both visas. You can have a student visa, a visiting visa, a J1 visa. Are they likely to give it? Chances are maybe not. But I'm never going to tell anybody don't apply, because sometimes you never know. They might still give it to you. You just have to show the intended purpose, and if they're satisfied with that, and you're saying, listen, I'm back home now, I'm not going to abuse my status. Look, I came back home on the J1, so I'm a good person, I respect the laws, but I would like the opportunity to be able to visit the United States. And that's why you're going to apply, fill out the DS-160, and pray. If you're a praying person, keep your fingers crossed and go to that interview.
All right. This one says my visa will expire January 2026. If I apply for a visa interview waiver, no, will I be eligible for it?
Okay, no, but you don't apply. That's not how it goes. You don't apply for a visa waiver. You still have to fill out the DS-160 to renew. And it's up to the consulate whether or not it warrants. And since your visa is about to expire, has not even expired yet, chances are if your travel pattern has been good during the times that you had it, they may very well waive the interview process for you. I strongly don't believe in applying for the renewal so soon, because you can imagine if you go renew, you have up till January, you could have gone up, for Christmas or before, right, for Thanksgiving in November. You can imagine you go renew now and they deny it. You just lost a trip for Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, because there's never ever any guarantee that it's going to be successful.
Absolutely. All right. Here's another one. This one says, I'm an H-2B worker in the U.S. I'm doing a second job and the owners are willing to sponsor me. How does that process go?
Wait, so say that one more time, Nora.
So the person is on an H-2B visa working in the U.S. and they're the owners of the company are willing to sponsor that person to change their status to live in the United States. How does that process go?
So it's very difficult to change from an H-2B. Maybe the only other thing for the employer, maybe H-1B or a EB visa, but that person depends on the qualification, depending on the job and the job title. The employer will need to do a consultation, because in that case, usually it's the employer
who completes the application, and we're going to need the finances for the employer and also going to see the qualifications as well for the beneficiary. So that person will need to do a consultation, or his or her employer.
All right. So I am going to allow you ladies to give your contact information. Just to remind our listeners and viewers that if you have any immigration related questions for the United States or for Canada, for those who may be a student going up to Canada, or you have any other questions related to Canadian visa or immigration related, you can give us a call. Goes for the US as well. The numbers to call 876-630-9371, and that goes up to 4 and 618-8255. We're almost up on the break. Gonna allow you ladies to give your contact information for those persons who are waiting for that. Opal and then Nadine.
All right. So for Opal Lee, the phone number in Jamaica is 876-854-3599. That's 876-854-3599. In the United States, it's 954-358-2020. That's 954-358-2020. You can find us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook at FlowJam Legal. Over to you, Nadine.
Thanks, Opal. For Nadine Mahabir, our contact number in Jamaica, it is 876-754-4391. That's 876-754-4391. In Canada, it is 1-416-249-5885. That's 1-416-249-5885. Our email address is info@cdnintl.com. Thanks, Miss Nora.
Thank you, ladies. We are up on the break, so let's take the break. When we come back, we have more Immigration Mondays.
Spectrum Insurance Brokers provides quality insurance coverage and risk management services. The time by Spectrum Insurance Brokers Limited, setting the industry standards, is...
It's 9:30.
Are your devices accurate? Are they calibrated? Even small errors can lead to big problems. That's why Jamaicans trust the Bureau of Standards Jamaica. From food to fuel, health to hardware, our metrology and testing division provides world-class calibration and measurement services to keep your devices precise and your business meeting global standards. Whether you're weighing goods, monitoring temperature, or relying on the accuracy of devices, we get it right every time. Our advanced equipment and experts help you move with confidence. Call 876-618-1534 or visit bsj.org.jm. The Bureau of Standards Jamaica. From lab to market, the power of precision, powering accuracy, ensuring safety.
Parents, make this back-to-school season hassle-free and visit Stationery World and Book Center Limited. Get books for all ages, school supplies, uniforms, shoes, and much more. You can also get your office supplies and office furniture at one location. WhatsApp your book list to 876-298-1526 or visit them in Kingston at 5 Sandringham Avenue or their new location at Morant Bay Urban Center, St. Thomas. Call 876-618-7922 or 876-619-093122. Stationery World, there is meaning in our name.
Good morning. You're back here inside the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM. I'm Nora Gay Banton. It's Immigration Mondays. We are joined by U.S. Immigration Attorney Opal Lee and Canadian Immigration Consultant Nadine Mahabir. We are taking your calls and your questions in the YouTube chat. So if you have any immigration related questions concerning the United States or Canada, you can give us a call. And if you missed the updates earlier area, especially if you have a child in the United States and you're looking to adjust status, or you'll be applying for a U.S. visa soon, and you're thinking about if you can get an interview waiver, then you want to listen to the beginning of the program. And if you are intending to go to Canada as a student anytime soon, then you want to ensure that you get that information that was given at the beginning of the program. I have a caller on the line, Miss B, and then I have two quick questions. Gonna go to Miss B first since she's been waiting for a while. Miss B, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I have a question for Opal Lee. I'm in Jamaica, and my husband, who is a LPR, he petitioned for me about 3 years ago. Now, we have recently received an update from the USCIS that my case has been approved. And a follow-up update a few days after that, stating that the case has been sent to the Department of State for visa processing. What I would like to know is what can be expected of me to do further from here, and how soon do you think everything is likely to finalize for me to leave?
Okay, good morning. So, do you know what month or what year your husband began the filing?
It was June 2022.
Okay, because right now they've already passed your date. They're now at September 2022. Mm-hmm. So the minute your filing had sent over to National Visa Center, mm-hmm. It's now upon you to make sure you log into that portal. You should have gotten a case number that begins with KNG and an invoice number that usually begins with IBSCA. You will need these two numbers. You need to log in. You should have logged into the portal. I don't know if you already did that, if you already passed this process, where you'd have done the affidavit of support. Well, that is strange because they're all the way in September 2022, and this you normally would have gotten notified about this, usually months before.
I just got the information. I would say maybe a week or two ago.
Okay. So go ahead, but you have the case number now, right, and the invoice number that I just spoke of.
Number, yes, the first letter.
Go ahead and log in, and you see the instructions how to log into the SIAC. Go ahead and log in, and it will have the instructions there about the civil documents. You're going to need to send in a copy of your birth certificate, for example, biographical page of your passport. Mm-hmm. You definitely need to go do your police certificate now.
Okay.
Your husband would need to do the affidavit of support, make sure his income is sufficient. If his income is not sufficient, you will need a joint sponsor. If any of this is too confusing for you, you can contact our office, and I'll be more than happy to go ahead and handle it for you.
Oh.
You can do a consultation, okay?
Okay, all right.
And then we will do the work and just tell you what's needed, and we will do whatever it is that's needed.
Okay, all right. Thank you for your help.
You're very welcome. Thanks.
Okay, yes, bye-bye.
All right, Miss B, thank you so much for calling, and all the best to you. All right, two questions online here. First one, this person says they traveled in 2024 for about 5 months from the end of June to December. They are now applying for a renewal of their visa, and they're being asked to come in for an interview. The person just wants to know if they should be concerned about anything or if this is quite normal.
They should be concerned, because this is something I've spoken ad nauseum on Nationwide, where I explain that never spend 5 months unless it's for some reasons beyond your control or you have a very valid reason. And not only that, I always say, like, when it comes time for you to almost renew, you want to make sure that the last 5 trips, because that's what the question asks on your DS-160, list each trip you have spent to the US within the last 5 trips and their duration. It will look very good on that renewal application, or that DS-160. If, for example, those trips are very brief, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or thereabouts. If you have some 3 months, 4 months, 5 months listed at the last, for the last 5 trips, that is going to pop right out at the consular officer. You're going to be sure they're going to question you, because when they're seeing you spending 5 months in the United States, their, alarm bells are going to be going off. What were you doing for 5 months in the US? Who supported you all that time for 5 months? Were you working? Because that's what they're thinking you were doing. Right, Nora? Even you don't get 5 months vacation. Do you?
No.
I mean, you're
I wish.
But but that's why. So yes, it's but they should still go there with telling the truth. Hopefully, you were not working or anything, and just maybe keep a positive attitude, and wish you luck on that.
All right. The person is saying they only traveled twice on the visa, but it's the 5 months that would be
Correct.
concerning at this point in time. Another one here is asking, what is the cost to do a citizenship in the United States?
Right. So the filing fee is $710 for the N400 if you're filing online, or $725 if you're doing a paper filing, and that's for the filing fees.
Okay. Nadine, some time ago, you had informed us that the Canadian immigration ministers or those in charge in that department, they had announced a cap on international students coming into the United States, into Canada. Sorry, is there any update on that as it relates to that cap? Is that still a thing, or are they just taking persons?
No, I mean the cap or quota is still there, right? Because that's the purpose of the provincial attestation letter.
Mm-hmm.
Each province has been allocated a certain number of international students. So when you apply to the college or university, first you're accepted, then the college or university needs to get the provincial attestation letter on behalf of the applicant in order to meet the quota then for that particular province. So to answer your question, yes, it is still in place. If you're looking at coming to Canada to study next year, then of course I'm going to say probably by the end of September, you could start looking at schools, because you want to ensure that, yes, you're in that quota. Once you're accepted into the college or university, you're going to need the provincial attestation letter as well to apply for the student permit.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much for that. Some more questions on YouTube coming in. This one says, if a person enters the United States on a visitor's visa, the person got married, but the marriage did not last a year. The marriage was null on the grounds of fraud. Can that person still be able to get a green card?
Almost impossible for that person to get a green card if it was that if a determination was made that the first marriage was fraud. They will need to overcome or rebut that presumption. So that person is going to have to try to fight that fraud finding by maybe, I don't know if it's too late now for them to do an appeal, or if they've done an appeal, or even if it was just speculation and they're now married to somebody else. Even if they're married to somebody else now and this marriage is a good marriage, and they're able to show that this second marriage is a good marriage, meaning bona fide, they will still need to overcome the fraud and make sure they have documentation to show that fraud finding was erroneous. So they really and truly, and we have done a lot of those cases before, unfortunately, but that person will need to definitely need to do a consultation.
All right. Nadine, for students going up to Canada for studies, what are the possibilities of taking dependents with you?
You can definitely take your dependents with you, and depending on where you're going to be studying. So if you're studying at a university, depending on the course as well, your spouse may be able to qualify for an open work permit. Normally, dependent children, if they are, I'm going to say between elementary to high school, Nora, they can study based on the parent's study permit. You don't necessarily need a separate student permit for the children. They can come up and then go to school based on the parents' status. If they need further details, then they may contact our office, and of course we can assist them with the process.
What if that dependent is a parent, Nadine? Does that change anything?
Sorry, Nora. For immigration purposes, a dependent would be your spouse or your children under 22, unless the child is over 22 and they have a mental or physical challenge.
All right. Thank you so much for that clarification. All right. Here is Another one. In early May, this one says, my brother used the services of a business office to do his first U.S. visa renewal. His documents have not been sent back yet. Can it take so long?
Well, I always say be very careful who you use to do your paperwork, but I don't know if I don't want to say it should not take that long.
Mm-hmm.
So I just don't want to speak about other people's practices, but people just must be mindful. If that person would need to have a second opinion and do a consultation, let me see what is going on to see if something was even filed in the first place. Maybe they could do a consultation.
I mean, if you did a visa renewal in early May, you would have by now done your interview, and you would have known if you're either getting a visa or you were rejected. And so that process would be complete by now. So I honestly don't see there to be any reason for that office to still have your brother's documents. So I would go out on a limb to say there is a red flag, or maybe a pink one at least, and you should your brother should try to be more aggressive with getting back his documents. I would go out on a limb to say that, because by now you would have known if you're getting a visa, yes or no. And even so, if you did that interview already and you got the visa, you would have gotten that visa already. So,
or you'd have gotten a paperwork. Well, you'd have done the interview and told you that they're holding your documents
for some reason
to do administrative processing or something.
Yeah. So I would say to the person who asked that question, your brother should be moving more aggressive with trying to get back his documents by now, unless there is something that something from the embassy or somewhere to say that they are holding documents for some reason. I don't know, but yeah, red flag or pink, I would say. All right, here, we're up on the break, so let's take the break and come back with more of your questions.
Fill all your prescriptions, get cosmetics and other pharmaceutical items at Mannings Hill Pharmacy, located at 34A Mannings Hill Road, Kingston. Telephone 924-6280. At Mannings Hill Pharmacy, they stock all the hard-to-get medication. The time by Mannings Hill Pharmacy is...
It's 9:45.
You hear, say nationwide back-to-school fair get pushed back to August 23?
What? Push back? Lord, man, me need ready to go Harmony Beach Park,
Yeah, man, but them push it back to make it bigger and better. More vibes, more giveaways, and more things for everybody enjoy.
So tell me something, the book swap still go on?
Yes, man, still bring the books the kids don't need, and them can swap it for the ones them can use. Plus, them are gonna have health screening, school supplies for buy, banks and location, and enough giveaways.
Alright, me like the sound of that. But anything else I want?
Then no must. Me hear say them have domino tournament, scavenger hunt, and beer things for the whole family. So make sure you register.
Register? So how me have to go register now for go in if it's free?
Because once you register, you automatically get entered to win the grand prize in the special raffle.
Me have to go call up some of my friends them cause we can't miss this. So tell me now, what the new date?
August 23, same place, Harmony Beach, Montego Bay, from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Nationwide 90 FM's Back to School Fair. Bigger, better, and full of vibes.
The NNN Back to School Fair is brought to you by KFC, Massey Distribution Jamaica Limited, Cozy Corner, Phoenix Vision Center, the Jamaica Public Service, the Jamaica Customs Agency, the Urban Development Corporation, UDC, Friends of the Mayor's Parlor, JTA Credit Union, Stewart's Automotive, J&J Pharmacy, Hospitan, Budget Car Rental, Digicel Foundation, Sun Life Tours JA, Pop Fashion Limited, Charm West Limited, Discount Lumber and Hardware Limited, and All-American Institute of Medical Sciences.
This is Nationwide Tokyo Did You Know Facts.
Did you know that only 4 countries outside of USA have won the men's 100-meter final? Yes, that's a fact. Linford Christie of Great Britain in 1993, Canada's Donovan Bailey in 1995, Kim Collins of St. Kitts and Nevis in 2003, Usain Bolt in 2009, 2013, and 2015, and Ewan Blake in 2011.
That was Nationwide's Tokyo Did You Know Facts.
Good morning. You're back here inside the Consumer Hour on Nationwide 90 FM. I am Nora Gay Banton. It's Immigration Mondays this morning. We are joined by U.S. Immigration Attorney Opal Lee and Canadian Immigration Consultant Nadine Mahabir. And we are taking your calls and questions from the YouTube chat. So you can go on ahead and give us a call. The numbers to call 876-630-9371, and that goes up to 4, and our Digicel 9 is 618-8255. All right. Here is one on YouTube for you, Opal. It says a family member went to Jamaica, married and filed for the wife, but after 6 months of arriving in the U.S., she moved out while he was at work. He wants to file a fraud claim with immigration. What is your take?
Should I say that, listen, I help immigrants, not hurt them? That sounds like not even an immigration question for me. I mean, I'm really sorry that happened. I mean, shame on that person. But I will say this, though, that sometimes when the person leaves after 6 months or so, it's not necessarily a fraud claim. It's just maybe when they arrive into the United States, they realize that, listen, you know, as I see you and come live with you is two different things.
Yeah.
And situation could have changed, and it's not like the marriage wasn't bona fide, but it's just not something that have happened. And I don't want to speak, you know, personally about that because I don't know. Everybody's personal situation is different, but sometimes it's not the immigrant's fault.
I see. All right. So I guess you're leaving it up to that person. But you're saying it may not necessarily qualify as fraud.
It may not be a fraud. I mean, people fall out of love, or when they arrive in the United States, they realize, wait a minute, you know, this is not what we signed up for. I mean, you changed. It could be both, you know, we don't know. It doesn't necessarily mean fraud, though.
All right. I guess that would be up to the person if they want to go through that process. They would have to be able to prove then why they think it was fraudulent.
Yeah, but our office, we don't report people to ICE.
All right. We have a caller on the line. Bailey, good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Yes, you can go ahead.
Yeah, could I speak to the consultant from the Canadian Embassy?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, I went to Canada in 1982, but then after that I tried getting a visa, but one of my uncles told me that I'd overstayed. Like I got 6 months, but I spent like a year. So I'm wondering if I apply now, if it will be a problem.
Hi, good morning. I think we are going to need to do a one-on-one consultation to get some more details. Because if you overstayed when you went up, even if it was a long time ago, we would need to explain to immigration what were the circumstances, what has changed since then, and were you given a removal order while you left?
No, miss. At that time, I was a child. So, but then,
Okay.
Yeah. Then my aunt decided to send me. As I wanted to come.
I'm sorry, I'm not hearing you very well, sir. I don't know if you're able to speak up a little bit, please.
My aunt decided to send me home because I wanted to come home. Yeah, so I didn't know the real fact about it. So.
Okay. I'd probably recommend a consultation because if you're going to resubmit a new application, then you're gonna need to do some explaining. Or if you're doing it on your own, you need to explain all of those details. That you were a child at the time and you are not the one who decided to stay in Canada for an extended period of time. It was your caretakers at the time or your guardians at the time.
Okay, yeah. Well, I wrote down a number, so I will call you one day.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right, Bailey. All the best. While we're with you, Nadine, what is the wait time now for a visitor's visa application at the Canadian Embassy?
I will double check that for you and let you know, hopefully before we close off this morning, Nora.
All right, no problem. We're still having some questions coming in on the YouTube chat. So I see Andrea sending that question again, read the J1 visa. Opal did say, yes, you can apply for a visitor's visa. You know, once you were in good standing with the use of your J1 visa, you can apply for a visitor's visa. All right, here is another question. This one says, Opal, should I file a CR1 or I-129 with the I-130 and the I-130A or the advance parole form as a citizen filing for a spouse in Jamaica?
Wait, as a citizen filing for a spouse in Jamaica, you're only filing the I-130 and I-130A. That's what you're filing because you're doing consular processing. After the immigrant visas, the immigrant petition is approved, then they could go to the other documents, the affidavit of support and other civil documents, and the DS-260.
All right. Here is another question. This one, someone in the United States who has a green card, who's thinking of applying for citizenship, but they are having second thoughts because apparently the person is having memory issues and is unable to remember certain things. So they're considering just giving up their green card because they may not be able to apply for citizenship based on their mental condition.
But that, I'm really sorry to hear that, but not because you might not get the citizenship, which, by the way, I don't think just having a memory problem, because if they're able to get a doctor's note or a doctor can examine them and actually fill out the form to show that they have a disability that's preventing them from being able to do the civics, they could still get their citizenship. That's number one. But even number two, even if, let's say, they can't get their citizenship, why would you want to give by the green card? You can continue to work, live in the United States as long as you don't commit any criminal acts or any other thing that might get you removed. Why would you want to give up the green card? I'm just not following that logic.
All right. So the advice for that person is keep the green card, stay as long as you want to stay in the United States. But you can still
do a consultation to see if you could still get that citizenship, because if you can get a doctor to do a medical, fill out that medical form to show that you do have a disability.
All right. Final caller for the morning. Marcia, good morning.
Hey, good morning. How are you?
Doing good.
All right. I'm asking a question on behalf of my son who lives in the States. I was listening last week, Monday, and I heard the officer said that it normally takes like a year to file for a minor. And my son and his wife, they are both U.S. citizens, are filing for my grandson. This December coming will be 2 years. And they haven't heard anything, and my son is concerned. The processing starts with his wife, who is the stepmother for my grandson, doing the filing. But then he got his citizenship after through the U.S. Army. Is that a normal time frame, or I'm just asking? And another thing is that he has legal custody of his son here in Jamaica. So my grandson is staying with me because he's not able to get him.
Right. The I-130 itself, from a U.S. citizen filing for a minor child, it usually takes only about a year. So I'm not sure why it would be 2 years and they haven't heard anything. So they could do a consultation to check out what's going on.
All right. I heard you saying consultation, but I don't have your details that I could pass on to him.
You can keep listening. You can keep listening. They're about to give their contact information now. So you can get your pen out and just keep listening. All right?
All right. Thank you. Have a good day now, ladies.
No problem. You too. And we are up on the time and the nomination day coverage is about to begin. So I'm going to allow you ladies to give your contact information before we have to skedaddle up on out of this studio.
Thank you, Nora. So for Opal Lee, the phone number in Jamaica is 876-854-3599. That's 876-854-3599. In the United States, it's 954-358-2020. That's 954-358-2020. You may find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at FlowJam Legal. That's FLOJAM Legal. Have a great week, everyone. Over to you, Nadine.
Thanks, Opal. And the processing time for visitors visa in Jamaica is now 28 days. My contact number in Jamaica, it is 876-754-4391. That's 876-754-4391. In Canada, it is 1-416-249-5885. Our email address is info@cdnintl.com. Thanks, Ms. Nora, and welcome back as well. Have a great week.
Thank you. Thank you. All right. That's where we're going to leave it for the Consumer Hour and Immigration Mondays today. We are making way now for Cliff Hughes Online with Nomination Day coverage. And just to let you know, listeners, our Nomination Day coverage will go up to 2 o'clock. So we will have coverage up to 2 o'clock this morning.
That was the Consumer Hour with Nora Gay Banton.
Nationwide 90 FM, continuing the tradition of fair, fearless, and factual reporting. You're listening to Nationwide 90 FM. The time is
10 o'clock.
Cliff